Hello everyone, this is Vishakha Jain from IBM India, and today my topic is manifesting and mastering the art of executive presence. But before that, let me give a quick know how about who I am, what do I do, and what else apart from my day job I bring to the table. So, about me, I work as a senior consultant and associate lead for education and awareness WISE India chapter from IBM. I am the regional director and board member for Cybersecurity Global Alliance. I am the council representative of Women India Chamber of Commerce and Industry, which is also known as Wiki West Bengal, and I am also the founder of UKCSA India chapter and the brand ambassador for the Women in Cloud Network. So this was about me, and now we are talking about executive presence, right? So, why fit in when you're born to stand out? I don't use slides, that's not my thing. Because we are talking executive presence here, right? So, what is executive presence? Have you ever entered a room and seen somebody who resonated power, the gravitas? Yes, that's executive power. Have you ever seen a movie wherein the character stayed with you for years, even without rewatching the same? That's executive presence. The compassion, confidence, and warmth that a person brings to the table that makes him or her reliable is what talks about executive presence. It is the virtue by which, at high stake communication situation, your response to the same. So, what differentiates a person with an executive presence to a person who doesn't have the same? Let's talk about few observable traits and how can we manifest it. Because not everybody is a born leader, right? But with practice, this can come to you. And when you practice small things at your day in and day out job, executive presence becomes a routine. Because at the end of the day, we all look forward to climbing up the ladder, right? We don't want to fall down. And what differentiates a leader from a follower is his or her executive presence. So when we talk about Steve Jobs, what do you remember? The signature Apple speech, right? With his black shirt and blue trousers. That was a signature style, and the style he projected, the way he spoke and addressed his audience, made him remembered even after years of his demise, right? When we talk about Barack Obama, his warmth, the warmth that he brings to his table, is something which makes him stand out from other leaders the world have known. When we talk about Michelle Obama, the way she carries herself, the aura that she has, is something that makes us perceive her as a powerful figure. When we look at Priyanka Chopra and her various roles that she plays in her day in and day out role, we differentiate her as a global icon. Why? Because that's the perception we have for those people. That is the perception those people have built for us, and perception is reality. Until you believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you. Deal with it. So, what do you do to make your aura a powerful one? How do you go about it? Let's discuss few observable behaviors. So, when somebody has a good posture, right? We perceive that person as a disciplined person. Imagining somebody with a loose posture sitting like this, it shows that this person certainly doesn't have the zeal to grow. Why? Because of his lazy attitude. Doesn't look nice. Whereas a person who sits straight, listens straight, and talks powerful, doesn't fumble, uses wise words, have lesser fillers, chooses words wisely, is somebody who you think can come fit into your team and will take you to places and do the job for you. In a high stake situation, communication situation, a person who has this executive presence will take the best decision, best possible decision. Why? Because he has manifested the art of keeping calm and taking things one at a time, keeping his calm, right? And that is what differentiates a person from a leader. The lesser mortals will won't be remembered, but the people who stands immortal in the world are the people who have projected executive presence to the notch. Everybody still remembers them because that is the legacy they have left behind. And to leave a legacy behind, you have to practice. It's okay to not have those habits with you, but it's very important to cultivate it, to practice it. How? Your posture, I already spoke about, right? The gesture, how you use your hands, how you shake your hands. It talks a lot about you. Your fingers are also storytellers. Things you cannot do with words are done through your body language. So you have to be very mindful of your body language. You cannot just go timid with loose body language to convince somebody that yes, you are the one who will take them to places. If at all in life you look forward to being a leader, you have to have that aura which will resonate to your people, to believe in you, to love you, and then to help them believe that yes, this is the man or women who will be taking us higher up in the ladder. We can grow in his or her ambience, right? So that is the beauty. And the problem being, most of us as women are conditioned to have a lot of empathy, emotional intelligence, but the gravitas factor holds a little less with us because we are conditioned to be very good nurturers. Whereas in men, the emotional intelligence factor in general, I am not talking about exceptions. Exceptions are never examples. But in men, the emotional intelligence quotient is a little less. So both can coexist, learn from each other, and bring to the table the beauty that the world looks forward to feel. How? Small, small things. Posture said, gesture said, grammar. Now, what is the beauty of grammar? I understand that it's everybody has a different ethnicity, different accent, and different thing. But English being one language which the world uses, right? You can always work upon it. You can read, you can learn from people who speak and develop a good grammar that will definitely make you stand out. Why? Because nobody wants to listen to a creepy person, and when you don't know to use words wisely, right, it doesn't serve you any good. So work on your grammar, work on what you talk, work on your, choose your words wisely, work on your modulation, your pitch. You cannot have a flat tone and convince people that yes, you are the one who will take them to places, who will help them grow around you. Because when somebody grows because of you, their light shines back on you, reflects back on you, and that feeling is one of the most priceless feeling in the world. So work on yourself. Understand, as leaders, you're supposed to be a go giver and not just a go getter. But you cannot fix anybody else until you have fixed yourself. Nothing flows out of an empty vessel. To help others, you have to help yourself first, build that aura for yourself first so that others follow suit. Next, dressing sense. So, the way we dress, right? It has to be something we do in which we are most comfortable with. You don't have to please anybody else. Wear anything with confidence and with smile. That is the beauty about dressing up. Yes, few corporate cultures have a certain way and expectations of how their employees dress up, but always remember one thing: confidence is the best thing you can wear, and whatever you wear, you have to be confident so that that naturality comes in you. You are an authentic self. Because if at all you look forward to being a leader, you have to be your own authentic self. You cannot choose to fake it, because you know what? People will get it. And the concept of faking it till making it doesn't really work. So understand wh- what you make people perceive of you is what is the reality, because perception is reality. Deal with it. Be like water, as Bruce Lee said, because wherever you are put, you will adjust according to that vessel. That's the beauty of true leaders. But then have your own authenticity, because that will make you stand out and remembered. And yes, you will not have the load of fitting in into somebody else's shoes and being somebody you are not. That's the beauty great leaders bring to the table, right? Also, with everything in the pandemic going virtual, right? How do you project yourself as somebody with high stake communication situations comprehension capability? So now it is actually conditioned for women. They tend to prove themselves too much harder by putting in all the beauty in PPTs and stuff, as research says. And men, on the other hand, their channel that yes, we will do it. That attitude is that I am not against or supporting it, but yes, it is how it is, because somehow things have been conditioned over the years, over centuries to all of us, right? But then that is not how great leaders project. You know things, that's okay, but then you don't have to prove it. Prove it through your gestures, through what you speak rather than on PPT. Anything that comes between you and your audience and you and your employers or your followers, get rid of them. The notes, the PPTs, rid of it. Be your natural self. And how do you do it? Not everybody is born with good communication skills, right? Practice. Always remember, there is no substitute to hard work. You do have to practice. If you have to stand out, you have to practice. How do you do it? Judge yourself, record yourself. Ask yourself questions like, where do you see yourself 5 years down the line? Record it on a video or on a voice note. Listen to it. Judge for all yourself. That are you convinced with your own answers? If not, delete it, record it again. Do it until you get it right. Always remember, it won't be perfect, but yes, you will only soar higher with the zeal to learn, grow, and practice. So that's the beauty executive presence brings to the table. You always have your learning shoes on, and that is what will take you places. Security has a lot of things in place, right? Yet the thing is that we all are here to climb up the ladder. You don't want to do a certain thing for the rest of your life, right? Or we all look forward to climbing the stairs, right? Success stairs. But how do we do that? As simple as that. Along with your technical and other skills, you got to work on your communication skills. And how do you do it? And what does it help you to become? You climb the ladder faster when your technical skills are backed by amazing, beautiful communication skills. Executive presence that you bring to the table is something that will make you stand out from the lot. Even if you have a lot of knowledge, don't know how to go about it, how to project it to people. You fumble when you choose words, when you explain your projects to people. People don't perceive you as somebody who can be trusted, even if you have put in all the hard work there, right? But if you don't know how to communicate it to people, actually does you no good. It it instead takes away the confidence the other party is supposed to have on you because of all the hard work that you have put through. So, in that situation, what comes to your rescue is the ability to communicate. That is exactly what executive presence is. When you can make people believe that you are somebody who can be trusted with your work and who can communicate things that you bring to the table, nothing like it. Because at the end of the day, we all are selling something, right? Be it products, be it services, be it processes, or for that matter, your own self. We all are on the constant quest of selling things. Understand this. If you can do it right, with all the things put in place, with all the practices, communication skills put in place, there is nothing like it. And for that, it will, what you have to do is manifest this art of communication skills, the executive presence, build a gravitas, build an aura which makes you look powerful, because when you feel powerful is when you deliver things powerfully, and that is what makes you a good leader. And we all look forward to climbing the ladder, right? There is no, I don't think there is anybody who wishes to go down in the ladder, in the career ladder, instead of climbing up, right? As simple as that. Own it, learn it, and have the confidence to give back. So that was my time. I look forward to your questions. And yes, so you can connect to me on LinkedIn and on Twitter. My Twitter handle being euphoric bint. And that was my time. Thank you. I'm looking forward to your questions. Neurodivergent squad check in year two. Thank you. Holidays are hard for us. Many of us who are neurodivergent sometimes alone. I am organizing okay. We have any questions here? Kimberly says, this topic touches my heart. I have a close family member on the spectrum and I feel more helpful for her. Okay, so we still have time. Let me bring to you some story about myself and what made me pursue this habit of executive presence. Okay, so back when I started my corporate 2.0 journey, right, at IBM, initially I was a pen tester and then I chose to do MBA, and then I came back to the corporate, got a campus job at IBM. Why I did MBA was I wanted to work on my communication skills. Although as a one-to-one person, I can communicate well, but not to a larger audience. I had this fear because I was always a bullied child. Okay, so I used to be a bullied person in my school, and then I did not have somehow amidst my teenage and growing up, I lost that confidence of being a public person. I feared limelight a lot, although we all love that, right? Limelight. So I thought that how about to climb up the ladder, we all need good communication skills, right? That is the only reason I did an MBA in cybersecurity, because I was already doing technical work in the same. And then IBM happened. What happened next was WISE. WISE is Women in Security Excelling, a IBM community. And WISE had its India chapter, wherein we, as volunteers, we were set to educate people all around the globe on cyber hygiene. Cyber Day for Girls being one of the award-winning initiative by WISE IBM. So I was one of those volunteers who used to take the seat, do photography, write blogs and stuff. I never had the courage to go and convey, although those were young girls from school, right, whom we were training on cybersecurity or careers in cybersecurity. But I was always somebody who used to take up the backstage. I would do the promotion stuff on social media, or I would take the pictures because I was too comfortable with that. And I am a trained photographer and I like writing. Okay. But then a few leaders, right, they asked me or they helped me, motivated me to work on those skills of mine. And that is when I started having that dopamine rush, right? Because when they appreciated my energy, I was always a happy go lucky type of person. The only fear I had was of public speaking. So then I thought, okay, fine. One of my leaders, she asked me that you should give it a try, at least hold a session. At the first session, what happened was the school, they promised us a different class, but a younger class came. So we were supposed to train students from class 10 to 12, and on the contrary, students from standard 3 to standard 5 came for the session. And that was the high stake communication situation for us, right? Because it's easy to teach older people than children about cyber hygiene, careers in cyber security and stuff, because we had made the preparation of the level of high school students and primary school students visited us, right? So, and my topic was careers in cybersecurity. So that was even a little more challenging, I feel, because to a fifth grade student, what would you teach about careers in security? I mean, there is a lot to bring to the table, but I wasn't prepared at that time to teach them that way, because I was conditioned, or I was prepared to teach a little more older students who were looking forward to having or stepping into the world of cyber security, rather than students who were very young children, right? So what came to my rescue? The presence of mind. I started with the art of storytelling. And then I told them that how, as cyber security practitioners, what you can bring to the table, right? As doctors, they are the people who look after the healthcare of the world, right? The cyber security practitioners, we have the responsibility of looking after the healthcare of the internet, and with great uh, powers the comes great responsibility, so we are amongst the responsible lot. So this is how I build it on my content on the spot. And then I realized what worked and or came to my rescue was the executive presence. Although I feared limelight for I think more than a decade of my life, but when I was put at that high stake communication situation, right, because that being one that had the reputation of my organization versus those children who we had to convince, because at that point in time they were our client, right? And then when the age group of your client just changes and the mindset also changes, you have to broaden up your horizon to have the ability to step into the shoes of younger people, right? So that is what came to my rescue. I got that adrenaline rush that yes, I will work more on my executive presence. Yes, at that point in time, I I did have a fillers problem. I had a lot of amidst my conversations. I had a lot of and so a lot of things, right, which I had to work on. But how did I work on? I looked for opportunities to speak. I recorded myself. I started working, judging myself. I I took help from mentors in the industry to build on my executive presence, and today I am here. I think this is my third talk on the same topic, and I personally can feel the change that I have brought to my tone. My tone was very okay in my first session. Then it became a little authoritative in my second, and today I think I'm doing justice. I'm being my authentic self. So that is what executive presence does to you. So that was about my time. I thought since we do not have questions, I can talk about my personal journey. And I think we are about time now. So if at all you have something else to share or ask, you can please do. I look forward to your questions. Okay, Vishaka, do you take mentees? I need this kind of truth and realness in my life. Of course, I take mentees. I am a IBM recognized mentor, and you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn if at all you're looking for mentorship. I'll be happy to help. Thank you, everyone. I had a good time. Namaste from India. Have a nice time.